And we're live. Welcome.
True.
There we go. Welcome, everyone, to another live episode of All Aboard. As you can see,
Is that martini?
It's a Manhattan. It's Manhattan season.
There we go. We're just jumping right into it. Well, as you see, we have our guest, Minifan Kim Jong-Un. LK, you want to keep attacking him, or should we welcome him first?
No, attack all the way. that Manhattan is so out of character.
It's classy. What do you mean?
Manhattan season.
No, the guy does a beer show, and he's drinking a martini, a fancy martini.
No, we did our recording last night, and after that, I can't drink beer for at least a day or two for what we did last night.
Oh God. Well, definitely check it out. When's it gonna air? Let's give you
Monday.
some promo. Monday. Okay.
Right. Yeah, check out KMS.
You guys definitely check it out. And Ned, LK, we're trying to hope that we don't witness the first live accident on the KMS network. But
right, because you passed the test, I passed the test.
Yeah.
Now it's Ned's turn.
That's right.
Yeah, but old people can't drive anyways, so who knows with Ned?
True. Ouch, that hurt.
Ow! Jeez.
Well, boys.
Ned, are you driving your Oldsmobile or
A Lincoln Continental.
88. No, stop. No. So no problem. Nope. I don't anticipate any problems. Everything should go fine.
all right?
Should be
Cool.
about 10 minutes.
Perfect. All
Famous
right.
last word.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We'll see you in 10 minutes after your internet cuts out now. Well, we're going to start with our KMS topic as always. John Zimmerman came on the podcast this week. Kirk interviewed him, and they basically were talking about how he thinks that masturbation is taboo, and that's why it was a big deal that Tubin jerked off on a live Zoom. Kirk made a good point that it might be that it's just an age thing for him and that it's not actually taboo, and that there may be other reasons why it was a big deal that he jerked off on a live work Zoom call. But I'll open it up to you guys. What do you think masturbation is taboo? Has it been taboo with you and your friends? And have you ever had an inkling to ever jerk off on a live video conference with your coworkers? I actually want to pass this to Ned first because he's in the car with his wife, and I want to hear him talk about his masturbation with his wife in the car.
Well, I can say with clear conscience that I have never, ever even thought of doing that while on a Zoom or WebEx or Teams conference call, especially given today's environment. What do I mean, especially? No, it's just you just don't do that. Whether it's Me Too or Me Too Bin, no. That's a no-go. Absolutely you don't do that. And the fact is, what kind of a psycho actually can disseminate sex and work while actively at work? I mean, it takes you're supposed to be focused on your job.
Right.
That's
plus Ned's old school. He needs a magazine, go to the bathroom, the whole
scroller. Kim, what about you? Was it ever taboo with you and your friends to talk about masturbation?
No, I mean, I was thinking about this. I grew up in a predominantly Irish Catholic family, but I think my parents, with all their Irish Catholic guilt that they grew up with, it wasn't an issue with my family. But in middle school, on the bus, it was a topic that a lot of people made fun of people about. They said, "Oh, that weirdo probably jerks off," and that was until 8th grade. Then after that, basically everyone talked about all the time about how they were jerking off, like to who and to what, and situations getting caught by their parents, and so it was never really taboo in my life.
Fair,
cool. So. Listen, taboo or not, everyone has its own opinion.
Here we go with the Latino view of it.
I respect, okay, but what surprised me were two things. First of all, that guy sounds like Jon Stewart. So I think Big Steve is like planting Jon Stewart to be Professor Zimmerman. I don't think the Professor Zimmerman was true. Second of all, and most important, that nobody talked about it. What's up with masturbating with a sock on? Like, Kirk's crazy. Like, that makes no sense. Like, you don't masturbate with your socks on. Like, or use your socks to masturbate. That makes no sense. So I would like to hear your opinion.
Completely disagree. 100% disagree. I'm with Kirk. The first time I ever did it was with cloth over it, and ever since then, I'm just like Kirk. I've never jerked off with my bare hand in my entire 38 years. Ever.
All
right. Well, first of all, I just want to quickly address CP Rebel. I have the game on my phone under my desk. I am actually not paying attention to this entire show, and I'm just watching the game.
Cares.
Go Michigan! Well, I'm responding to the chat. But no, I mean, I grew up. I think when I was growing up, I was a lot of tissues. But I mean, with tissues, without. I mean, when you go on a business trip, are you telling me you still put something over it? You're not, just like letting loose in any random hotel room because who cares? Really? That's crazy.
You can find something, in your suitcase that you can use.
Hey, this is the best weapons ever. You can use your dominant hand, your not dominant hand. You can sit on top of it, make it numb, but then it's a different feeling.
That's
there's many ways to do it, but adding extra layers in it, nope.
I'm with Kirk. The first way you do it and you get into that rhythm with it. And I'm also a lefty. I throw righty. I do everything with my left hand.
Huh.
I think it comes down to what you did the first few times.
That's fair. Listen, I think it's a fair take, and to get back to the actual question, because I didn't want to actually talk about our own masturbation habits, but I listen. Obviously, I grew up in a religious world, so obviously, it was talked about as taboo from the authorities. But I mean, at Jewish day camp and summer camp rather, you start going there. I am, believe it or not. I mean, you're 8 years old when you start going, 9 years old when you start going. I mean, it was probably a year or two in before we started stealing Playboys from our counselors, and like we'd all just take turns with it. So it was never taboo for me to talk about it with friends, and I do agree. I think that it was an age thing, but what really just boggles my mind is how anyone can think that there is not a big deal and that it wasn't all on Tubin. Like, forget paying attention, Ned. Like,
Thank you.
Could you just imagine being in a room with people or being in any type of public world where you're going to end up just jerking off?
I know people that go to the bathroom stall at work and jerk off, like in Wolf of Wall Street. I know people that do it. They say,
listen, that's crazy, but at least they're doing it in a bathroom stall.
Has anyone done that before?
I have not.
Really?
No,
I have not.
I have, of course. You never jerked off
you
anyone?
have. Of course you have.
When I was young.
Of course.
Full of energy.
When you were young. Jeez. I mean, listen, I will admit that I have while working remotely, but not like in the middle of a conference call, but like...
No, not a conference call. You need to go to the bathroom.
No. I mean, I'm saying I never did that in an office, but like at home, yeah, when I would work from home before... COVID, and I didn't have my wife in the room sitting next to me, I would certainly find some time, but I know. Okay, what?
Joe, hold on a second, Adam.
Yeah.
So, Kim Jong-Un, are you a father? Do you have kids?
Two kids.
Two. Boys?
Both boys, 2 and 4.
Okay. LK has a boy. Adam has a boy.
I have two boys.
Okay, two. Sorry. You've got. How did you tell your sons about it, or have you yet to tell your sons about it?
No, they're too young.
Yeah,
4, 2 and 4, and then mine are 8 and 2. So I don't think any of us are having that conversation anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, Ned, my nephew though just came back from camp, and apparently his camp is a little different than mine. He's 13, and he just came back and like was telling me in confidence. So sorry that I'm blabbing this about how shocked he was that he didn't know that kids his age were masturbating, but like his friends were talking about it. So
fathers explain it to you then.
No, I never talked to my father about that.
Nope.
Okay. So my dad, when we had the facts of life, I was 7. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about, right? And we talked about it, and he said later on I'm going to have a talk to you about masturbation. So fast forward to 13. You know what my dad said? He's like, look, we're Irish, we're Catholic, we're Italian Catholic. You're not supposed to masturbate. He's like, it's in the Bible that to spill your seed, right?
Yeah.
And he said, but you're going to do what you're ever going to do. But just keep in mind, real men fuck. That's what he told me.
Oh God, it sounds like a real old school Irish.
Irish Catholic guilt is real.
Yeah.
Enough fucking masturbation. Next topic.
LK,
They can't hear me.
No, we can't. LK, you mentioned that you had another topic you want to talk about with KMS.
Yeah. So
surprise us.
Justin brought this up on Justin the Minifans, and I want to tag on that. Roommates. Who would you have as a roommate in the KMS world if you were going to college?
Huh.
And I'll start with you, Adam.
That's a great question. I mean, I think you and I get along pretty well. I'd say that the two of you guys, LK and Ned, and Minifan, I would definitely throw you in there as well, Kim. But I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't know. I liked having my own room in college, both in the dorm and when I lived in an apartment. So I'm going to vote for a single and just completely back my way out of that question.
How about you, Kim? Let's say you have to pick a roommate.
That's tough because now, like if I were in college and now would be two different stories. If I were in college and I was partying all the time, it'd be Kevin from Bristol, hands down.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
Hands down. Yeah. Like now, 38 years old and not wanting.
Or John from Scranton.
Yeah, one of those guys. But now it would be a completely different story. I'd want someone that shuts into themselves and doesn't bother.
Right.
So
like that. I'm thinking about it with my brain now.
Yeah. So college would be Kevin. I think it would be Kevin. 100%.
Yeah, that's a good call.
How about you, Ned?
Visionless Dave. Absolutely the best. He would be.
Justin, can you just remove Ned from the feed? Like he's totally useless today. I was just kidding. Come on.
Oh God, we were joking.
We're joking.
So I could cheat off him.
There you go. Okay, I don't think he noticed that he was removed.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So for me, I think so. Two people, I think I would get along well. RA. So I think RA and I have pretty much similar, personalities. Even though I think he's a little more extrovert than I am. I'm super introvert, so I need someone to feed off of. Someone that can counterbalance a little bit. And BA, I think it was someone that I think we would get along well because he's totally extrovert, right? But I think we are both have a sense of humor that we could get along well. Plus our likeness of partying, so I think that it would be good. I don't think I would get along with Ned in college years. He's too smart. He would try to one-up me all the time and all that. So I don't think it would be nice. And you, Adam, you're too hyper. I don't think we would get along well. So
you also wouldn't appreciate.
You would want to be a PA who's off the wall, 12 hours.
No, BA is. I think he's energetic, but Adam is the type of person that would be bouncing while he sleeps.
Yeah,
he's too hyper.
That's fair. I also could see BA as the type of roommate that he would just disappear for days and days at a time, and if he shows up, great. If not, you have your own place.
No, I think BA is the type of the guy that says, "No, let's go out 11:30 p.m. Right? Oh, let's go out. But now I'm tired. No, let's go out. So he's the type of guy that's energetic in a different way, but I think he keeps the party going.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. I think.
No. There's more. Oh no.
There's more. Oh God. Okay. Okay. Has more for us. What else do you want?
And now it's not enough about me featuring Justin. There's the next two topics about our producer Justin.
Oh God.
Let's start about the fuck up. Let's talk a little bit about the fuck up. And I know he talked about that on Justin the Minifans. Then I know that he basically assumed that he was wrong and all that. So I'm not going to comment on that because I commend him for saying that. But I think Steve has a little bit of fault on this situation, especially the fact that he didn't pick up the phone to talk to Justin when Justin called him. Be a man and talk to your employees, your subordinates. He kind of gave the vibe that he ignored Justin when just called him. And I think that's bullshit. If you are his boss, you pick up the phone, you talk to him. Don't send a message to the show that he doesn't trust you anymore. No, fucking pick up the phone, talk to Justin, tell him where he did it wrong. Move on. That's my comment on that. What do you think?
Kim, why don't you go first?
I mean, I actually agree with LK 100%. I think everyone fucks up, especially, when you are put in a position, when you're elevated to a position, you have new responsibilities and you have new pressures on you, and you do screw up. I think Steve needed to talk to him, and I think airing that out, it was a mistake, and I agree with LK 100% on the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that I think that, Steve probably should have talked to him, but I think overall, you want to talk about airing it out. Justin, I love you, but I think that, it was a wild move to
absolutely
post, texts from your boss. Like, I have to side with Steve on all of that, just because I don't know how I would react. I just know that I would be, yes, Michigan touchdown. I just know that I would be, really pissed off, and I can understand that, especially in a work relationship, you want to maybe take a step back, and maybe I don't want to talk to you yet because I know I'm going to react in a way that I shouldn't.
That's bullshit.
But it's the thing is, like, in Justin's defense, and I still think what he did was wrong. You never share DMs, especially with your boss. But he's running the YouTube. A lot of these people and personalities were giving him shit everywhere on Twitter and Discord. I mean, everywhere, saying what is this bullshit? Why is this happening? So Justin felt, when they said that on the show, they made the joke about him being happy. He got ahead of it, and he made a mistake doing that. But the pressures from these guys, on Twitter and Discord, it can get to certain people.
Oh, totally.
And I can see why he'd want to defend himself. You got to let cooler heads prevail, and you got to say, fuck it, fuck those assholes. I mean, trolls are going to be trolls, and they're going to fuck with you every single day.
Yep.
So you just got to basically say, fuck them, and you move on. So he made a mistake, and that's why I say I don't think it's that big of a deal. I know, they were upset on the show, but I see it from all sides. But I agree with LK at the end of the day.
Yeah, and again, I'm not defending Justin. I think what he did is wrong, and even he recognizes it's just the fact that if your subordinate calls you pick up the phone. Don't just correspond in text, and then the other day go glow on the main show. Oh, I didn't pick up the phone with Justin. I let him know. Just faster on what he did. That's bullshit. It's poor management. And also, I have one more point. I think it's a criticism.
Okay.
To put everything on Justin's back in terms of having him communicate, it's also bullshit, right? Because there's like the sentiment that even though Justin's part, of the show and all, we all knew people were gonna shit on him, right? Because of what was going on. So I think Steve should go to everyone. He should go and say, "Hey, no more Will on the channel."
But on the flip side to that, first of all, like you said, Kim, a lot of people are going to be shitting on him, and that's just the way of life in that role when you're running the YouTube. And they have said the YouTube is now Justin's. It is his baby. It is for him to run, and if they're going to be paying for him, sometimes you have to be the one to do that dirty work, and they need to see, and they also need to see that he can react, that he can take that criticism from people.
You didn't let me finish my point. You didn't let me finish my point.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one, anyways.
No, it is, because what I was gonna say is that at least Steve should have sent a message and say, "Hey, you're welcome to share this part of the message, that for people to see that's coming from me." It's a way to help, people get into the next level. It's like you don't throw someone, a little bird on the air and say go fly. It's step by step.
Yeah, but don't you think though that Justin could have just said, "Hey, Steve told me to say this. The show told me to say this," and nobody would sit there and be like, "Bullshit, I don't believe that."
Well, we got it for KMS Brews. We got it. We knew that it was coming from above it.
Exactly.
Justin doesn't have the power to do it. But a lot of times, and I think that this is a bad management technique, but Steve might have been employing that thing. When you get elevated, you got to fire somebody, and you got to be that dickhead. And we're going to see if you're going to crumble or not. I'm not saying Steve did that, but I've seen that firsthand. People do that when someone gets promoted. The first thing they do is, hey, you got to go mess with that person, just to see if they could handle the pressure. And Justin messed up.
Yeah, but if they want to do that, make me laugh first. Justin's working for free, as far as I know.
Listen, it is what it is, but I think that for the most part, also knowing Justin, I think that this is going to be a good learning experience, and Justin will not find himself in this situation
Just
again.
is probably like this, like to us.
Oh yeah,
on the backstage.
Oh yeah. Let's move on from Justin.
All right. I have one more topic.
Oh God. Yes, let's go. Let's wrap up.
No, first of all, fuck you. Second of all,
I want to talk about the rest of this.
No, I want to talk about the VFW. Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
People need to go buy tickets. People need to go and help the veterans. The interview with Captain Tom was good. I know you haven't watched Adam because you're always off on Fridays, fucking whatever you do. Praying. Whatever.
Being Jewish?
Being Jewish, yes. So this is good. I would like to clarify to our 3 viewers on the show right now that I didn't freaking buy 1,000 tickets. I bought 10 tickets, and it's very simple to do what I did. I just manipulated the numbers on the page. Simple HTML manipulation. If you guys want to do that, just Google it. Obviously, I don't have the money to unfortunately, to help the veterans with $25,000. I bought 10 tickets. I hope that's enough. And Adam told me that if he wins, he's gonna give me the ticket. So effectively, I have 20 tickets.
No, I'm actually giving it to Lauren Lynn if I win. So.
Oh, good. That's
good. Well, I figured she's certainly a lot.
I'm done with Justin topics. Love you, Justin.
Kim, did you buy any tickets?
I did. I won't be able to go either. I only did 2 because we're doing there's something else that we're gonna work in on. I don't want to spoil it, but we might, myself and some other people in Discord might be trying to do something else to help raise some money for this. That we might. We're waiting for Steve to get back to us. We're trying to talk to him, so I think I might be making another donation. Let's put it that way.
Cool.
Nice. And I do hear that the Discord is back. It's a nice and a good place. You want to quickly plug it?
Well, yeah. Well, there's 2 Discords now. So the original KMS Discord has cleaned up, I guess you'd say. There's, some people didn't like that, so they went and migrated to a different server. But the KMS Discord has changed. There's rules in place, and we're trying to make it a place that hopefully someday Kirk will come back, and that's why we might be doing something to help spur him to come back. So we'll see what happens.
Nice, awesome. And just for the record, also, I am planning on going if I actually get a ticket. If I win 2, Lauren Lynn has my second.
I'm giving mine to Patrick in Discord.
Nice.
I can't go that night.
Oh man, he will be. I mean, I can imagine how heartbroken Patrick is going to be if he doesn't get a ticket.
It's going to be awesome if he doesn't go.
So moving on in this world today, obviously there's a lot of political stories out there and a lot of big government news, and a couple things that I know were of interest to us. And Kim, I know you also were following a lot of this. Is a couple stories that I think are examples of. Or could be examples of government reach, depends on your view of it. First, the federal government filed antitrust charges against Google, alleging that Google is violating the antitrust laws to act as a gatekeeper to the internet. They're unlawfully blocking out competitors by reaching deals with phone makers, including Apple and Samsung, to be the preset default search engine. Also, that they abuse the dominance of their Android operating system to strong-arm manufacturers. And then the other story was Purdue Pharmaceuticals, which is the pharmaceutical company that created OxyContin. They struck an $8 billion deal with the federal government over charges that they basically were a huge, if not the main reason that we have an opioid epidemic, which we certainly do, because they were incentivizing doctors with bonus money to overprescribe. And what's going to happen now is that the settlement is going to close the company. And instead, the government's going to take over the company, and they're still going to be releasing OxyContin, but they're also going to be creating medicine to combat the opioid crisis. So there's a lot there. Kim, take it away. What are your thoughts?
The Purdue thing drives me insane. It has for years. So in a previous life, when I graduated college, I was this close to being a pharmaceutical rep. Johnson & Johnson offered me a job, but instead I moved to Las Vegas to get into the industry that I'm in today, which I'm glad I did. But what a lot of people don't realize about how this whole thing started was back in 1996.
Is male prostitution an industry?
Back in 1996.
Stop doxing, LK.
Basically, what they found out was doctors were under prescribing pain medication. So they found a real issue that was going on, and they exploited it. So from 1996 to 1999, they did an aggressive marketing campaign where they were, doing what pharmaceutical reps do. Like everyone does it for everything. For penicillin, doesn't matter what else. They are always giving kickbacks to doctors and everything like that. It is industry standard. But what they did was in 1999, they released a promotional video that basically said OxyContin is not addictive, like cigarettes. And that's what fucked them. So in 2007, the first time they got in trouble with the federal government, they pled guilty to misbranding because they knew in 1996 that their drugs were addictive. So that's where they're wrong, and that's where they fucked up. But in 2007, they, pled guilty. They paid $600 million in fines, and they moved on. But since then, more and more information came out. It was like Jeffrey Epstein. So as more and more people find out, the public gets more pissed off. So all they want to do is attack Purdue because, OxyContin. The real villains in this situation are the fucking doctors. Because if you watch, there's a great documentary on HBO where there's this one woman had been to the emergency room 50 times because she was breaking her wrists on purpose and she was getting her stomach pumped from ODing, and they kept prescribing her OxyContin. No drug rep is going in there forcing those doctors to write the scripts. In Florida, there's pain clinics everywhere. Purdue wasn't opening those pain clinics. It's fucking bad doctors writing scripts, getting paychecks. And it's not just OxyContin. It's oxycodone. It's Vicodin. It's Percocet. It doesn't matter what the drug was. They just needed a scalp. And Purdue was that scalp because they were the ones that did fuck up at the beginning. And they marketed the OxyContin as not addictive. So that's where they fucked up, and they pled guilty. And the government came after them years later. And now this is bullshit. The government's now going to take their business and get profit. And there's all these other states now are suing because they want to know what piece of the pie that they're going to get from the federal government with the profits, which is even more bullshit. Like the entire thing is they wanted a scalp, they got the scalp, and then they went for more. So the whole thing just drives me insane because the real villain in this situation are the doctors and the pharmacies. There's another great documentary on Netflix called The Pharmacist, where these pharmacies knew what the hell was going on. These people constantly coming in and getting prescriptions for different types of things, getting one from the dentist, one from a doctor, and they didn't give a shit because they were getting paid. So the whole thing's fucked up. They're going after the wrong people, in my opinion.
Yeah, not only that, I think it scares me when government starts to interfere in private business. And I know that, what's the name of the company? Purdue might be wrong on this, but like for you to take down the company and then just take over because you're a good guy, that's BS, I think it opens a precedent for other takeovers like that.
Yeah, and it's also, it's now the government is both peddling the drugs and the antidotes to those who overdose on them. So I agree. I'm not gonna go into my thoughts deeply on Purdue because I pretty much agree with everything you just said, Kim. Like my issue is more with the doctors. Obviously, it's a real issue. There is a crisis. People are who get addicted. It's not their fault for being addicted. But yeah, the doctors should do their jobs and do no harm. But so I'm going to switch over to the Google stuff where, it's to me, it's the same thing, LK, that you were just saying, where it really is, this is just all screams of over government of just too much government interference for me. I feel like, honestly, maybe I'm wrong and there's a lot of this that I'm missing, but to me, this just feels like you have a company, Google, that came in and revolutionized the search, the search function on the internet, revolutionized advertising on the internet, and make good products that people like because it all works together with everything they have. And so instead of, being like, hey, this is a great example of a company and an American success story like Google was looked at a few years ago. And it's the same thing. I know Facebook is about to get an antitrust suit as well. They also were the darlings of the American success story. And now it's just, to me, the government is stepping in and saying, we don't want you to be that successful. It feels like the government is penalizing them for being too successful. And ultimately what they're going to, what the government is going to try to do is break up both the search and the ad group from Google. And this just, I don't remember. I wish Ned was here because it was from the mid 90s. But the government went after Microsoft in the past and it failed.
Yeah, no, so not really. They didn't fail. The government was able to get Internet Explorer away from the basic installation of Windows. So the user could have, the choice of what browser you would use in your computer, even though they added IE after. It was in a such way that you could still choose what browser you would like to use. But I think my problem with this, Adam, is that Google is becoming too big, and you can get to a point where they dominate everything and use business practices to fuck with everyone else. So I don't think it's a government versus private company. This example, it's an antitrust. Because if you're too big, you're gonna eat up your competitors, and it's not only Google. Amazon does the same.
Right? But it is an antitrust lawsuit. But I mean, listen. If I created something that somehow could get, was better and more successful than Google, that's on me to do the work to get it up there. I don't.
Yes.
But what sunk Microsoft in '98 was they actually had a paper trail. So they found, the federal government found a paper trail of the executives saying, we are absolutely trying to kill Netscape. That's what they were trying to do. They had a paper trail saying they were doing it, and they made it impossible for you to take, IE off of their operating system and screw with it. The difference between the cases is with Google, the default settings in anyone's phone, you can change it to anything you want. It's not forced on your phone. You can change it. There's also no plaintiff. The issue back then was there was actually someone being harmed. There's Netscape. In this case, right now they might be able to amend it, but right now there's nobody that they're naming that's being harmed.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion, this has everything to do with the fact that the left and the right are all pissed off from 2016, or people are being shadow banned, and what they want to do is they want to get a scalp again. That's all the shit is. It's the federal government stepping in because they don't want somebody more powerful than they are. And that's all it comes down to. Right now, the tech companies have so much information that they want to fuck with them and they want to break them up. I'm telling you, it's not. There's no way that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that there is they want to fuck with them part, but I think it's also they are able to manipulate everything on both spectrums, right? And this is dangerous because with Windows, I agree, they were fucking with other companies, right? They were literally taking Netscape out of business and other companies, but Google, with ads and all, they are influencing people's lives, right? So I think it's different. I don't agree.
That's not the Sherman Act. Like them having data on us doesn't mean that they're a monopoly. The only thing that scares me,
of course they are. You're telling me Google is not a monopoly? Come on.
Collusion between Apple and Google. That's the one thing that they might be able to get them at, because that's where they're making basically side deals, saying, "Well, we're going to give you a ton of money, and you do your thing, and make sure that we're the default." And let us do our thing with our phone. So that part on the collusion side, they might be able to get them. But in antitrust, like Sherman Act, I don't see where there's a great article in CNBC. It was I think it was a week ago, where they went through the legal briefing and they tore it apart. They basically said that this is not the same thing it was in 1998. And what happened in 98 too? That took until 2004 from the settle, and then there was the appeal. And the New York Times did another article. They were saying that, it was the greatest thing in the world. All these other companies, because of this, boomed because of it. That's also bullshit, because in 98 was when Mozilla came out. And if anyone, remembers Mozilla, everyone switched to Mozilla before the result came out anyway. So, I mean, this idea that, the federal government needs to step in for competition to, come up, I don't buy it. I never have, never will. This isn't the 1920s where there's indentured servants.
I think you are ignoring the fact that Google is beyond the point where they can have competition.
But okay, at a certain point though, that's not why should they be penalized for getting so big and so successful? To me, I completely agree. I think this is the US government is just trying to another step of them to try to put big tech under a more intense microscope. They've been doing it for the past couple of years. They want to keep themselves at the top, and I completely agree with Kim. And yes, whether maybe they are a monopoly, maybe they're not. I don't think that what they're going after Google for is actually falls under the Sherman Act, which is exactly what Kim was saying.
So I'm not familiar with the Sherman Act. The point is, you make so much money in one part of your business, you can have, let's say, less than ideal business tactics to go after other businesses. And that's how you become not only a monopoly in your original business, but other businesses. And I can use multiple examples, right? You can go with the Amazon example where they were too big on the retail that they start losing money on all other things to grow on cloud and grow on ads and et cetera, et cetera. And then Google with cloud, with ads, right? They make so much money out of ads that they can bleed on, auto driving cars, in cloud, in phones, in Android, et cetera, et cetera. So the problem is not like the antitrust. The problem is the business practices that Google is allowed to do because they make so much money. So by breaking the companies, I think it's not going to go away from Alphabet, for example, right? The Alphabet is still going to own everything. It's just a matter of, hey, they are separate entities. No more funny money around cost centers, because that's how they fund other business and with other competitors, and then Kim touching on another good point, even with Apple, right, which they are arch rivals, right, they can still play, frenemies, right, because, Apple pays a lot of money for Google to be Google pays a lot of money to Apple to be the official, the search engine for Apple, right? And it's a lot of money if you get at the
20%. It's 20%
the quarterly reports. You will see it's a lot of money. But even with that, you go see the other businesses of Google after ads. Everything is on the red. Why? Because it's being paid by ads. And then other competitors that don't have the same amount of money behind the scenes to help them are getting fucked.
Well, I guess my point though with some of this too is, why hasn't the federal government stepped up before? I mean, so I've done some consulting for some, companies that have been, bought and then looking to be bought by Amazon and Google and things like that in my industry. And they just let those purchases go right through. I mean, Amazon and Google, if someone's fucking with them, a competitor, they just buy them. So why is the federal government allowing that to happen? Then coming back the next year saying, "Oh, you know what? You're too big. We want to break you up."
But you know what?
Where they could step in and say, "You know what? This is actually going to be an antitrust issue because now."
But that's the problem. They are not big enough to be an antitrust issue. Go read the Everything Store book. Have you read that book, Everything Store? It's the story about Amazon, and there are multiple cases there in the book. But one of them are diapers.com. That Amazon basically drove them
I know that
out of business to go and then buy them and then discontinue the site. So they adopted tactics that were not nice. And even if they bought at full price when they first wanted, diapers.com were so small in terms of revenue that wouldn't even trigger the antitrust review. That's the problem.
But Kim, you made a point before about there not being any plaintiffs. So I mean, the truth is, though, that for the past, pretty much five years, decade, whatever, there have been plenty of companies that have been piping in saying, hey, they're a monopoly. We need to stop them, and begging the government to go after them. I think probably the biggest one would probably be Yelp. I think Yelp is going to jump aboard, and I think that we're going to see some of these companies starting to pipe in now. And I think that's going to be the key here, is that they're going to have to upend the original suit. But
like I said, though, the reason why Microsoft got screwed was there was a huge paper trail saying all these executives at Microsoft saying we're gonna fucking kill Netscape. We're gonna do this, and this to ruin them. There's no way in hell, unless Google's extremely stupid, that they're gonna be able to find a paper trail saying, hey, we messed with AskJeeves.com. I mean, I just don't see that happening, or you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see that happening.
Yep. No, I completely agree. All right.
I don't agree, but it is what it is. I think in this topic, government's right. They need to do something to stimulate other companies to come up and fight against Google. And my last example is Microsoft tried with Bing, not successful.
Yes.
Jet.com tried against Amazon.com, huge failure, even though Walmart bought them and pumped a lot of money. So it's not hard to go after these big companies.
Edge is being a big failure at this point.
No, it's gonna be good. I think it has a chance. But look at the market of Android and iOS, right? You will never see another operating system in a long time. It's always gonna be those two. So I think when you talk about big tech, it's different. It's very hard to go and compete against them.
Well, where I also think that that Google might have issues also is, with the operating system, LK. Because, for example, I just bought a new Sony TV, and the operating system is Android. So I do agree that I think that they may jump into some issues again if there's a paper trail, Kim. But I think that's where the government is going to have to strike, is if they start looking at the operating systems.
Well, another example, right?
External forces there.
Amazon with their tablets, right? They use Fire OS instead of Android, which is like the open source version of Android. But what that doesn't give you is the Google Play Store, correct? So the Fire OS, the Amazon devices were a big failure because of that. Right? Because the whole ecosystem is in Google Play Store, but by using the open source version, you don't get the apps. Therefore, nobody's going to use your devices. The Amazon phone is gone. Nobody buys the Amazon tablets. So stuff. And it's Amazon, right? It's Amazon. They have money if they want to go after Google, but it's tough.
It's because they suck. I mean, the Chrome. If you're going to get a tablet, you're going to get a Chromebook or an iPad. I got a Fire one time just because I gave it to my 2-year-old because if he smashed it, I didn't care because it was $100.
Yep.
So it's one of those things thing is a piece of shit. Like at the end of the day, Apple. When I was growing up, Apple was the computers that were at school. All the school systems had it. The operating software stuck. If you wanted to have a computer at home, it was a PC. Yeah. I'd say most of my friends or everybody in my industry now, if you at a sales meeting, everyone has a MacBook. It's probably 70-80% MacBooks to PC laptops at this point.
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago, it wasn't the case. I just think when people come up with better mousetraps, it wins. And if you get really, really good, like Adam was saying, so now we're going to start penalizing people for doing well. That's where I start getting a little skittish with this, especially after when you're looking at the federal government breaking up a drug company and then taking it over as a government-run drug company.
Yeah,
but
I
think
think
the same thing with Google.
That's different.
Their wet dream is to take over Google and have a government-run search engine, so they can. That's what they're trying to do. I mean,
the pharma thing is different. I think it's different. Yeah, like to purposely break a company, and then take over. That's fucked up. Trying to create competition with a private-owned company that's monopolize everything. Fair. I would rather see the government trying to simulate other pharma companies to go after Purdue than do what they did.
That's fair. I think that we've pretty much got all that we could out of this. But before we head out and close the show, I'm actually a little disappointed that Ned couldn't be on still. Because he and I had something that we wanted to talk about. Before we get into that, Kim, first of all, thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me,
guys. Everyone, watch KMS Brews. Great show, and obviously Kim is a big part of that. LK, so everyone knows about what happened with Will. Ned and I wanted to make sure that this wouldn't impact the show. So we hired the best investigator in the Miniverse, Ziggy Robinson, to do some digging to get us proof that your hands were clean and that they were not involved in any of the misdeeds that were happening under your own roof in your own home, LK.
Yeah, come on, let's come.
So
come with the bullshit.
While we had the best intentions, the results are, well, you know what? I'm just going to read them and I'll then let you respond, all right? This is from Ziggy. While LK was not involved in any of the horrendously stupid decision-making that Will utilized to choose to use the StreamYard, it does seem like LK was definitely involved in the drama that ensued. His motive was clear. LK has reason to go after each of the Mincel guys. He's jealous of BA's curly hair. He's jealous that Phil is the more popular Minifan minority. And he's mad that John from Scranton spread the rumor that he was short. On top of all this, Will was spending too much time producing Mincel intel, playing video games with the Mincels, and not enough time playing tummy sticks with LK. This is why LK decided to sabotage Will. LK has also been in a feud with Visionless Dave recently. Why? Because VD and Will have been streaming Call of Duty together. So in the end, it all has to do with jealousy. LK clearly wanted Will all to himself, so he went to Will's mortal enemy, Justin, and ratted Will out. LK, do you want to respond? Do you have any defense?
Pretty accurate report.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, are we coming out now? Is this going to be that moment where you finally tell the truth and finally admit to the world that you were the one who leaked this all to Justin? Do you want to explain yourself?
I was actually the one that logged into Will's computer and started the stream.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess that this is probably then the last all aboard, because we're probably gonna get banned next, right?
Yeah, that totally happened. Yeah, so it's all on me. What else?
You heard it here first, folks. Was that
your big plan? Wow.
I mean, listen, we just wanted to
your brain to think about that.
No, I mean, listen, we just wanted to get the truth, LK. We just wanted to get the truth.
All right.
All we care about is the truth.
Cool.
On that note, have a good night, everyone. See you next week.
See you
guys.